this is Sid here, and welcome back to another video. Basically, today I have a special video for you all because I am going to be drawing some dragons again. It has been a while since I drew my last dragon. That is because I actually did start off as a Wings of Fire YouTube channel about 2 years ago now, because July 5th is actually my channel's 2nd anniversary, and at the time I'm filming this video, it is like June 29th, so that will be in like about a week from now. That's pretty cool. But basically, I'm going to be drawing some dragons for Miss Dogloverlikesdoge's design contest. If you do not already know who Miss Dogloverlikesdoge is, she is a very famous Wings of Fire YouTuber with about 20,000 subscribers. She is one of my biggest idols and inspirations because she was really the one who motivated me to start my YouTube channel. She had a contest about 2 years ago. It was like designing a Wings of Fire book cover of your own creation with your own OCs and stuff, and I participated in that contest and I actually got 10th place, which isn't that good, but I think there were like over 1,000 people who joined that contest, so considering that, that's pretty cool, you know? So basically, that was what gave me the confidence that I needed to be like, hey, my art is good enough to where other people will like to see it, and I think I should start my own YouTube channel now. But yeah, basically, this is another one of Miss Dogloverlikesdoge's contests, and the theme of this one is to create your own winglet for Jade Mountain Academy with your own dragons and OCs. So my winglet that I created was the Emerald winglet, and I have 7 dragons, one of each tribe. For my SkyWing, I have Crimson. For my MudWing, I have Brook. For my SeaWing, I have Wave. For my SandWing, I have Aardvark. For my Rainwing, I have Fern. For my Icewing, I have Snowstorm. And for my Nightwing, I have Black Flame. But I didn't draw all of these characters because I was having a pretty hard time just like staying motivated, and I didn't want to burn myself out, and also just because I knew it would take a long time. Also, the quality of this art is a little bit lower than usual because I didn't fully shade or render any of these sketches. I basically just did the line art and then the flat colors, plus a few extra details here and there to spice them up, but I did not do any shading or rendering, so that is my bad. But I did write backstories for 4 of these characters, and I'll just be sharing with y'all. Usually I don't write really long backstories or personalities or anything for my Wings of Fire characters because obviously you can't like write and publish Wings of Fire fanfiction as an actual work or a novelization. That would be against copyright laws and everything, so I try to focus more on like original stories that I created myself that aren't reliant on other people's universes to exist. So, all of that great stuff, but I'm sure that if I did develop these characters enough, I could probably just make a dragon story of my own using them. So, yeah. But anyways, let's start off with the first one, our SkyWing. So, this is more of a scripted video than usual. I do have like actual script written out that I'll just be reading from. I'll try not to sound too incredibly robotic because the reason why I like to do unscripted videos is because I feel like if you're just talking naturally off the top of your head, it sounds more like humane and less like you're speaking to an AI or something. Sometimes I'm listening to these YouTube creators and it just sounds like they are a robot at the other end and they're less of a human. So I want to have a more like human interaction with my audience, which is why I like to talk to y'all guys as if I'm having just a normal, genuine conversation. But I did prepare some notes ahead of time for this one, so I will be using those notes and all that great stuff. But yeah, basically, Crimson, who you are seeing on screen right now, is a young female SkyWing with dark pinkish red scales and a yellow underbelly. She has light amber eyes and speckles of white across her wings. So, Crimson is very, very adventurous and loves exploring the mountains of the Sky Kingdom. And she likes to go into their expansive cave systems and see what they have to offer, go on little quests around there. She also has a habit of collecting unusual bird feathers like eagle and hawk and falcon feathers that she finds along her travels, and she often takes these feathers back home with her and stores them in a secret stash beneath her nest to use for later, so she can make cool stuff like feather art and all that great stuff. But Crimson is a very brave and determined dragon, taking on any task without hesitation, no matter how daunting it may seem. However, she doesn't always think things through, and sometimes she forgets to look before she leaps, and her courage leads to recklessness. She's also very fiercely independent, and she struggles with asking other dragons for help, even when she really needs it. She's highly protective of her own personal freedoms, and she can become incredibly snappy when other dragons try to boss her around. Because of this, older dragons and other authority figures find her to be especially annoying. Like many of her fellow SkyWings, Crimson is an exceptional flyer. Her lithe but athletic build makes her agile and quick on her feet, or should I say, talons. As such, Crimson was recruited for the SkyWing Kingdom delivery service at a very young age. There, she works as what is essentially the dragon version of a mailman, and her fast flying speed allows her to transport urgent letters and messages, and her endurance allows her to carry heavy parcels and packages over a long distance. So yeah, that is my beautiful SkyWing OC, Crimson. She's basically just a very Aries personality, if you know the zodiacs and stuff. She reminds me of that. Very brave and courageous and all that great stuff. But yeah, the next member of our winglets is Brook, and Brook is a female mudwing with orangish brown scales, a light beige underbelly, and honey gold eyes. As you can see, the scales near her spine are a little bit more purple than most mudwings, and she also has some chunks of moss growing in some places on her body. Like many of her fellow mudwings, she has a strong, burly, muscular physique. But despite her intimidating appearance, Brook is actually a gentle giant. She's very kind and sweet, and she wouldn't hurt a fly, you know? She's very patient with people, down to earth, and grounded, and takes a very realistic approach on things. But she has a surprising capacity for empathy as well. Many of her fellow mudwings come to her for her amazing advice and words of wisdom. However, she herself can get a bit too set in her ways sometimes, and she can become reluctant to change, even the good kind of change. Brook often collects smooth river stones to create mosaics for her lovely rock garden. Even though she's vegan, she loves to experiment with food and try out new plant-based recipes, using the Mud Kingdom's signature veggies and greens. She has a soft spot for yoga and meditation as well, and she likes to do all of these mindfulness rituals to just keep her motivated and inspired. She has all these positive mantras and stuff that she repeats to herself to keep an optimistic mentality. Brook works as a master builder, engineer, and architect for the Mud Kingdom, designing underground tunnels and pathways for the tribe's defense during wartime. She enjoys this job because she feels that she's providing her community with a sense of safety and security, but she still dreams of retiring one day and starting up her own yoga and meditation studio to keep up a zen and peaceful practice. So yeah, I feel like Brook is just a very kind and sweet character, and I just love that for her, you know? The next member of our winglets is a SeaWing, and his name is Wave. Wave is a young male SeaWing with a fine gradient of teal turquoise scales, a light sandy yellow underbelly, and aquamarine seafoam green colored eyes. Wave is enthusiastic and imaginative, always coming up with creative, unexpected solutions to tricky problems. He loves puzzles, and he's also very playful, inquisitive, and curious. Other dragons might find him annoying because he's always asking questions, even about the littlest details that no one else would even notice, and he seems physically unable to stop talking. He's also prone to overthinking, losing his focus, and getting easily distracted by the smallest of things. He seems very ADHD to me, you know? He has his hyperfixations, and he tends to get distracted a lot. Wave loves to go on little treasure hunts across the Sea Kingdom and collect as many trinkets as he can. He often visits old, abandoned shipwrecks to see if he can find any cool scavenger stuff lying around. Sort of like in The Little Mermaid, how Ariel likes to find her human stuff, Wave is very similar. He likes to go and see if he can find anything from the scavengers up on land. He has a childlike obsession with shiny objects and is fascinated by strange, mysterious items. Wave is an inventor and he likes to create his own machinery and weapons. He works for the SeaWing Institute of Technology to build new gadgets, gizmos, and devices designed to help improve the quality of life underwater. So, I think he's pretty cool. He's definitely a nerd, but he's very, very cool nerd as well. And the last member of our little winglet that I have here today is Aardvark. And Aardvark is a scrawny male SandWing with a small, lanky frame. His scales are a light brown color with tan, tawny patterns and a few darker flecks here and there, sort of like the same coloration as a real-life Aardvark, which is the animal that I based him off of. His warm gray mane is long and messy with several cuts and lacerations in areas, and his eyes are a shiny, beady black. Aardvark is a very proud and passionate dragon with an extensive knowledge of SandWing history and their fabled past. Like 99% of other SandWing OCs, Aardvark grew up in the Scorpion Den where he was born and raised. When he was younger, he didn't really like going outside and playing with other dragons because they were too rough for him and he didn't like all of the violence and chaos, so instead he just stayed indoors where it was nice and safe, and he spent hours at a time listening to the sacred stories of the tribe's elders. Nowadays, he channels his love for his tribe, their desert home, and their traditional folklore and fairy tales through his creative expression. Despite seeming aloof and unaware most of the time on the outside, daydreaming about one thing or another, Aardvark is actually surprisingly smart and resourceful. Since the desert has a limited amount of supplies, Aardvark often finds himself creating paints and dyes from unconventional materials, such as cacti sap, date juice, coconut milk, and agave nectar. He is also a perfectionist, and he can be a bit too hard on himself at times. He'll beat himself up for even the smallest, simplest mistakes, like a single bad brushstroke. Though his hard work is inspiring, his dedication to his craft often leads to burnout, exhaustion, and, in extreme cases, neglect of his own basic needs. Needless to say, through Aardvark's resilience and commitment to his work, he was able to become famous and establish himself as a successful indie artist. His artwork is often found on display at various festivals, galleries, and conventions all across the Sand Kingdom, and rich, wealthy patrons pay high prices to buy his creations. That is the last member of our winglet, and I imagine that regardless of the differences in their genders, being a boy and a girl, Crimson and Wave would be good friends, and Brook and Aardvark would be good friends. This is because they have similar personalities. Crimson and Wave are both very excitable and energetic and give off young kid energy, and Brook and Aardvark are both more calm, mellow, and chill and give off a more mature vibe. I think that they all would work well together and they would be such great friends. And although I did not include them for the sake of my own mental sanity, I think that their clawmates would be a Rainwing named Fern, a Nightwing named Black Flame, and an Icewing named Snowstorm. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like and subscribe for more, because that always helps me out so much when you do, and I really appreciate it. It helps to boost my YouTube channel into the algorithm so that more people like you can see my videos, which is always such an an amazing thing because I am indeed an artist, and it always means so much to me for my arts to spread further into the artist community and for more people to get to see my artwork. But yeah, as I said earlier, full transparency, I don't do as much Wings of Fire stuff anymore or dragon related stuff, but I have been doing quite a bit. I went to SandWing Fest last month, so I have a SandWing Fest vlog up and posted if you want to go check that out. And I also went to go see the How to Train Your Dragon movie earlier, so I have some How to Train Your Dragon content coming out soon. And yeah, but anyways, if you do click like and subscribe, that would be good because I, unlike most other YouTubers, upload videos multiple times every single week, and I upload shorts multiple times every single day. So no matter what, I can almost guarantee that you will always have something fun and interesting to watch, and you will never be bored. But yeah, if you want to take your support from me a step further, then please click the links in the description box down below. This will take you to my other social media accounts like my Instagram, Pinterest, Roblox, Artfight, and Unveil, and all of that great stuff. I have a lot less followers on each of those accounts than I do here on my YouTube account, so each and every one y'all would mean so much to me. But yeah, if you are more of a foodie just like Brook is, and food is more up your alley, then you might want to go and check out my Instagram Grubs account, where I post all of my amazing food pics. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that y'all guys all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Always remember that I love you, and goodbye, eat more waffles, and peace out, Girl Scout.